What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp here with the man, Leon St. Giovanni, LSG. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Despite everything that's going on, life is pretty good.
Yeah, we got in touch. We've been trying to get in touch a few times over the past, I feel like 9 or 10 months, dating back to when you were in Coast to Coast. I was going to interview you and Shaheem. I did interview Shaheem, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But right now, you have a show coming up this weekend, July 11th. I'm really excited for this. It's for first responders. It's Synergy Pro Wrestling. They've been doing a lot of promotion for this. You got Alex Zane, who's local to me. He's a Lexington guy. Blake Christian on the show. You're on the show. Like there's a lot of stuff going on with Synergy right now, and you're a part of that. Is this the first match you've done since everything has happened in the world?
Yeah, I think my last match was March 14th, so it's been a while. So I definitely have like those anxious butterflies in my stomach right now, but I'm just excited to get back to work.
So how does that make you feel? You got the call from them. How far ahead or how far out did they hit you up about this, and how did you feel when they first contacted you about this show, knowing what's going on?
I mean, I've known about it for a while, probably 2 months or so,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a regular at Synergy, but it's cool to see the influx of talent coming in. So like, I guess I'm used to wrestling more like local talent
Yeah.
at Synergy, but now they're bringing in guys from all over the country, so it makes it a little more exciting.
Yeah, I've noticed. I mean, even this, like they're stepping up their media presence. They're really getting that type of stuff out there. You're facing Jordan Oliver. What are you expecting here? Like, have you worked or faced him ever before?
I haven't, I've been on a lot of events with him. He's a local guy. He's from New York. Well, he's living, I think, in Jersey now, and we've just missed each other. We've never wrestled each other, but I see what he's doing. He's blowing up right now. He's doing great with MLW. He's super talented, and I actually just saw him wrestle at the GCW backyard, and he's gotten bigger. And like it's cool to see him progress, and I'm excited for the match because he's doing really well for himself.
What did you make of a show like GCW Backyard? I love that they step out, they do something different. I mean, this event is also on Fight Synergy Pro, but I've talked to the I think it's the Fight COO or CEO Mike Weber, and he's like, man, I love those guys. They step outside the box, they do crazy stuff.
Yeah, they killed it. For me, it was very nostalgic because like a lot of guys from my generation of wrestling, we all came from backyard wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So it really reminded me of like something I did 12 years ago where we would all gather. We actually had rings, like we had a backyard scene, and I even wrestled some of the guys that were on the show back then. So it just had like that old feel, and like I just had a great time. And watching all the guys and how innovative they were, and just like the use of the environment, it just brought back like awesome memories from backyard wrestling. Like
Yeah,
10,
I
20.
checked that out on Fight this past week. I hope you guys check out the Synergy Pro show on July 11th on Fight. Fight is always doing like great giveaways and a lot of stuff like that, so keep your eyes out because there's going to be a good chance you might get a chance to watch that for free even if you hit the right contest. But Tony Deppen, JD Drake, as I mentioned, Blake Christian, Alex Zane on this show, a lot of emerging talent here that is on Fight, and especially like with an established talent like yourself who's been in Ring of Honor for a long time. What do you think this says about Synergy as a company that they're branching out and bringing some new people in?
Yeah, they're stepping up, and I think what they're doing right now, having the event during the pandemic, it's going to make them stand out a lot. They're taking advantage of the situation. I
Yeah.
mean, it's an unfortunate situation, but I think the way it's being handled, the way the show's being set up in a very controlled environment, and guys want to work, so guys are hungry right now, and I don't think there's anything else going on Saturday. So I think there's like one other event in New Jersey happening. So I mean,
Yeah.
this is the place to be if you really want to see wrestling, you want to see some top tier talent. Like this is the place to be.
And the proceeds go to the American Nurses Foundation. My mom is a nurse. This is very dear to my heart. So I definitely applaud Synergy Pro for doing this. I really like that. But you've had a lot of stuff going on in your career because you've had a major career change. You Coast to Coast announced in January you all were going your separate ways, and the way that it was framed is more like a see you later, not a goodbye forever type of thing.
Right, right. I think we're all pretty used to seeing guy tag teams breaking up and fighting. But I think it was just time for us to move on at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and just to see what we could do as single stars. And you know, you never know. We keep that door open just in case, because you know we loved tagging with each other, and we did some awesome things together. At the time, it just wasn't working out, but you know, you never say never.
And you all teamed together for years too. So I mean, this is an adjustment for you. I mean, I know you still work singles matches all the time, but you were a member of a tag team for years. How has that adjustment been for you going back to being a singles wrestler?
I think you start thinking differently about how you want to present yourself. It's a little, it's weird when you're in a tag team. You kind of have like I see him as my brother. I can lean on him, and like we support each other. But without that, you have to step up as a performer, as an athlete, as a character. So like it just you have more accountability for yourself. So I've been just spending the first half of this year just like getting in better shape, working on myself, working on my brand, and you know, I'm excited to see what happens. You know, it's exciting times.
And
It's
Shaheem's
gonna force me to elevate myself.
yeah, and he's a very outspoken guy. And how did that dynamic work? How did those personalities work, or even clash with one another?
Right. I think the way we worked together was like, I kind of was more cool and collected. I would kind of gather his thoughts, because he would
Yeah,
kind of go crazy, and then I'd bring it back down.
yeah.
And we kind of balanced each other out a little bit. But when it was time, he knew when to elevate me, and I, you know, would amp it up. So that was kind of cool.
Like, and as I mentioned, I interviewed him. I think it was November, and originally you were supposed to be on that interview, but we couldn't make it happen. Like that was something. I mean, I was very interested to see how those personalities would work together, because I would say something like, "Hey, what'd you think of Ring of Honor using a white ring mat for a while?" And he would let me know distinctly how he felt about that, and whether or not he liked it. So has that been different for you on the road? Even though it's been abbreviated, sure, because of coronavirus and all that stuff. Did you all travel together, and how has that affected you in that brief time that Ring of Honor was running after you all split?
It was an interesting time, because I did get some opportunities, you know, before the pandemic, just to kind of show off what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
And I know like I've got a lot of supporters there, and friends, and I know they want to see me do well. And there were a lot of really cool matchups that were going to happen, singles matchups. But yeah, you know, I do miss that. I do miss that traveling with him. Um, he's pretty local. You know, he's from the Bronx. I'm right in New Jersey. So whenever it was time to drive, we, you know, drive together, you know, stay in the same hotel together, do all that kind of stuff together. And it kind of just, it's sad, you know, I do miss it, but at the same time, it's, you know, we're both grown men. We got to take care of
Sure.
ourselves.
I didn't see an official announcement. Did he remain with Ring of Honor, or did he leave Ring of Honor?
There's no official announcement. I'm not totally sure what he's doing
Okay.
right now. And even me, myself, I didn't resign, so I'm a free agent, but I'm loosely
Okay.
affiliated. I'm still working, you know, I'm still working with them, just not under contract.
Yeah, because I noticed. I remember you did the match with Eli in February, I think it was. I know you were in the Battle Royal, but I mean that Battle Royal had people like Danhausen, who isn't signed as well.
Right, right.
Wasn't sure how that exactly worked. Did you attend the meeting that I've heard so much about with Ring of Honor? They brought in a lot of talent and took a lot of recommendations.
Yeah, yep. I attended that meeting.
It seems like that was a very productive, positive meeting based on the people that I talked to, because I've had like PJ Black on the record, and other people say, yeah, we put down probably 140 ideas, and they probably implemented 100 of them.
Oh yeah, totally. I think it was the first time that we really got a chance to speak to management, because we, you know, these are things what everyone knows in wrestling. You talk to
Yeah.
your boy, you talk to your friends. There's a lot of locker room talk, and you never really get that opportunity to gather together, get on the same page, and present your ideas. So I thought it was extremely productive, and to see a lot of that stuff come to fruition, it's very encouraging. And to me, it's like I know there's been some things that I guess put a damper on the I guess the perception of the company, but I want fans to know that the guys in the locker room are working so hard and they want the
Mhm.
best. And, me as a lifelong Ring of Honor fan, I started watching them back in 2005. Like, I want to see the company do well. We all do. We listen to the fans. We really, really care about what they think.
So, I mean, during that period, was there anything that you had suggested? Were there any ideas that you had kind of put out there? Like, I think this could help a little bit.
I There weren't anything. There was nothing that I said specifically that was different. A lot of us are on the same page. There's
Yeah,
things like we would love to be on live TV. That's a
sure.
huge thing. Um,
That was a big one that Shane Taylor had put forth to
yeah,
me.
like to me, that's like the biggest one, because you just look at the way the world is right now. It's, you know, everything's quick, everything's fast. We want
Yeah,
instant gratification. You need to go live.
yeah.
That's a game changer, because if you're on delay for 3, 4 weeks, people lose interest. People look at spoilers, and just, we know how it is.
That's the gift and the curse of being owned by Sinclair Broadcast Group, because it's like Sinclair has a ton of money, obviously. They're a broadcast group, so they're like, hell yeah, Ring of Honor content, we can plug it and play it anywhere we want. And also, Ring of Honor has the benefit of being able to stream their tapings live on Honor Club, as well as putting it on their website. Because WWE, for instance, they can't put Raw on their own network for a month. But because the broadcast company owns Ring of Honor can put it up a week later. So it is like a gift and a curse type of thing. Like, there's no reason that anybody can't watch Ring of Honor. It's just a matter of getting it live.
Yeah, when we started putting live events on the Honor Club, that was a huge step forward for the company. I know I was extremely excited, just because um, you just felt like there were a lot of people watching, not just the people in the building, but there were people all over the world watching. And as a performer, it's a really good feeling. It's no one who gets in the ring wants to perform for just the people of the building, and then hope that in a month or so somebody sees it on a
Yeah.
DVD or TV. But knowing that now there's a larger audience watching just makes it feel more um, gratifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of a larger audience, you were on that Madison Square Garden show. Explain to me that experience, because here's the thing. Like, I grew up, as I mentioned, in Kentucky. When they landed MSG, I was like, I don't see the big deal. And then I started to talk to people, especially from the area.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, it's gigantic. It's gigantic for us. It's gigantic for this. How did it feel to you as a person who grew up in that era of being told MSG is the biggest thing?
Dude, it is nuts, because, like, I mean, I'm only half an hour away from New York City.
Exactly.
I hop on the train and I end up right under Madison Square Garden at Penn Station. And I've been there many times. I've been there for WWE events. I've been there for Knicks games. I'm a basketball fan. So, like, um, it was wild, man. Just to be in there as a performer, to be in the locker room, just to see I'm sure you've seen the pictures that are in the hallways. I know I was just watching the Undertaker documentary, and when he was looking at those pictures in the hallway, like, I had the same moment where I was just looking and I was like, wow, I get to share, even if it's for only 12 minutes in this Honor Rumble, I get to share history with all my everybody in this locker room. We get to be in this building and wrestle, just like all these legends have over the years.
And previously, it was only thought of like, if you're in WWE, maybe
Yeah,
you get that, because they started to run Barclays so much more.
right. Yeah.
That
So
that's just got to be like a humbling thing to experience.
totally, because I mean, who knows when we're ever going to go back, or who's going to go
Yeah.
back.
And I know that I think it was a few months after that you had like a big tour of, I want to say Europe. I know you did WXW over
Yeah,
there.
that was actually the fall before. So
Okay.
that was October and November of 2018.
2018. Yeah, you're right. How was that going over there? How experienced and adept were you to heading overseas and doing trips like that?
It was my first trip over there. I mean, I was actually born in Germany, so it was my
Oh
first time.
wow,
Yeah, it was my first time going back since I was a baby. So for
that's
me,
amazing.
I think, when I got into wrestling, it was definitely one of my main goals: go to WXW.
Yeah,
'Cause everyone knew WXW. Anyone has passed through there at some point.
yeah.
A lot of the guys we watch on TV have wrestled over there. So I knew that was a goal of mine. And when I got in contact with them and they brought us over, I was just like, the feeling of going there was extremely overwhelming. before that, all I have is memories, not even memories, just looking at photographs of me as a kid in Germany. So like now to spend 2 months over there to just get that culture shock and like just get a new appreciation for the place where I was born was like unreal. And then the wrestling was even better. Like it
Yeah.
was incredible and so professional. I loved every minute of it, and I think about going back every day.
I got the chance to see them when they did the SummerSlam week in Toronto last year, and I met Felix, interviewed him. Like
Cool.
you could tell how much pride they have in that product, and it shows, like you said, based on the alumni that they have there. Like everybody comes through there, and sometimes that doesn't happen. A lot of times people get snatched up by an ROH, by an Impact, by WWE before they can do that. But WXW seems to get their hands on everybody. Uh,
Yeah. And especially like that first weekend we were there was nuts. It was the World Tag League. Like
oh yeah.
everybody was there. You had guys like the Lucha Brothers. You had Jeff Cobb, Thatcher, Walter. Like it's just unreal, unreal.
So one of the reasons I had reached out to you in the past is because you
Yeah.
were tied to this virtual basement game, and I've gotten a lot of information on it. I'm very excited about it. A lot of people are very excited about it. How
Yeah.
were you approached to be a part of this game?
So the creator, we've been in touch for a very long time, actually, since last year. Shahim's a big gamer, and he had been in touch with the creator of Virtual Basement, and we got into a group chat. We were just he was basically pitching the idea to us. We were giving
Yeah.
him some ideas too, just feedback from experience of playing games and just being in the business itself. And people don't know this, people don't realize this, but Shaheem and I were actually the first people to sign on to this thing.
Oh wow.
I know it was never really promoted that way, but
Yeah.
yeah, we were the first ones to sign on. And like at the time, I didn't think it was going to be such a huge thing. And like, it's almost like every week there's a talent announcement for it, or like a new advancement in the game. And some of the stuff I've seen from it is like just crazy. And I think people who are kind of tired of the WWE games are so excited for it. So I mean, I'm just like cross my fingers. Like I hope it works out.
Yeah, and when WWE 2K20 or 2K21 it was announced wasn't going to happen, I think a lot more eyes went over to Virtual Basement. And I mean, there's a lot of people, like I know one, the former Enzo Amore is all in on this game. Like he's trying to get them to bring in Vince Russo to write storylines, and he was recruiting people to be a part of the game, basically saying like this, your drawing power is tested here because I guess basically the amount of times you're downloaded depends on how much you make and all that. It seems like a fresh approach to a video game world that hasn't been that fresh over the last few years.
Right. And I think including independent talent, and like you said, it forces you to test your drawing power.
Yeah.
I think that the model is pretty cool. It's way different than anything I've ever seen before. And it should be very interesting because I'm looking at the roster. How many guys are signed on to this thing?
Yeah.
I feel like there's 200 wrestlers already.
Yeah.
Plus a women's roster they're working on right now.
Yeah, I put together the roster for it a few days ago, like for our website. I was like, man, that person's in it. That person's in it. That person's in it.
I'm not really sure who's going to be on the core roster of it and who's going to be DNC. But
I know they've already announced like EC3, Ken Shamrock, a lot of people like that. Kylie Ray, which I mean, I don't know how the Impact thing is going to affect some of these people because I know Impact asked them to pull out. Did ROH have any reaction to this that you knew of?
Not that I know of. I see. This is the thing. When I signed on to this, I was no longer with ROH.
Okay.
And I felt like this was a good opportunity for myself. I was like, well, I don't know what's going to happen with the Ring of Honor, but let me sign on before I sign with ROH. So I knew immediately that I wanted to be part of it. And I think a lot of the guys in the locker room were pretty excited for it too. And I remember it was actually that weekend in Nashville where you hear a lot of people in the locker room talking about it, and there was a lot of excitement about it. And I'm going around with PJ Black, basically pitching this thing around to people because I'm pretty close with the creator. We're going around like talking to different guys in the locker room about it, trying to get them, basically butter them up.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So I've been working pretty closely with Ashton, the guy who's
That's awesome.
the man behind the whole thing, just to try to send out feelers where I can. I'm not Enzo. I don't have that kind of I don't have those connections yet. But like the people I do know, I've been trying to talk to them and get them involved.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the immediate future of wrestling gaming because there's a couple good prospects out there, and I'm really excited. And the world is really excited for Virtual Basement. I can tell you that whenever we do an article on it or anything, it always does really good traffic. It always gets a lot of attention. So to see that people care about it, even though it doesn't have that WWE label, even though it doesn't have an AEW label, that makes me very happy. That makes me optimistic because let's be real, today people can create almost anything, and I think that's the method that's being tested. They're hand creating these wrestlers. They're not doing scans.
Yeah, it's crazy. When I first got the renders for me and Shaheen,
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, how did you do this? First of all, this might sound a little ridiculous. He sent me a nude one. I was like, how did you figure that out? Like, that looks just like my butt. Like, how did you get like he did such a good job of like gathering pictures from everything I've posted on social media to like put together. It's crazy the amount of work they're doing for each individual model.
That's the thing. I look at the stuff that fans make on WWE Community Creations, and I look at that and I'm like, well, why do they need to do face scanning at this point if people can just create it like that and it looks smoother and it looks better than what... And I'm not taking a shot at the developers or anything. I'm just saying there are some really talented people. And I know Virtual Basement doesn't have thousands of people around the world to create this stuff, so it makes it even more impressive what they're doing. I'm very excited for that, and hopefully we can talk more about that in the future. But it's a pretty exciting time.
Yeah, especially because they want to put it on next-gen consoles. Like that's huge too.
Yeah.
You hear this and you think, okay, it's just some independent game. It might be on PC or like mobile. Might be some little mobile game.
Yeah.
And they say that, no, this is going to be next-gen consoles. And like, all right, they're serious.
And I believe it. I mean, look at the WrestleFest sequel that's coming out, the Retromania arcade game. It's landing on PS4, Xbox, and Switch. So I think it's there. The opportunity's there. The attention is there. Fire Pro Wrestling was a runaway success. But as much as I am excited for Retromania and I liked Fire Pro, those aren't true 3D alternatives right now. And some people want that 3D alternative, and this is that, in my opinion. Before we wrap up, let the people know where they can follow you on social media. Let them know where they can check out what you're doing.
Yeah, so my handles are the same all across the board at Leon St. Giovanni. Just look up LSG, the Ace of Space. I've got Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I'm going to be posting a lot of vlogs from last year, like just a lot of cool content that I've recorded over, with all my travels. Look out for Synergy. We've got a lot of events. We've got 2 this month. We've got 1 every month the rest of the year. Big things with WrestlePro. We're going back to Alaska in September. I actually just got promoted as trainer there. So, hey, if you're in New Jersey or Pennsylvania, New York, if you're in the area.
You all were supposed to go there a few months ago before this all happened, right?
Yeah, we were supposed to go in May.
Yeah. So,
unfortunately, that got delayed, but September's looking to be an awesome event. We actually have two events back-to-back nights, which is
nice. Nice. Alaska. I remember seeing the poster, Janela on the Alaska poster. I was like, they're taking him there, huh?
Yeah, him, Nasty Leroy.
Yeah. I was like, no way that goes wrong. We'll see how that plays out. Yeah,
we're lucky. This is our 3rd time going already. I never thought I'd go to Alaska 3 times.
I think that's awesome. What's the market like in Alaska? Like how is it there?
They want entertainment. Those people are bored as hell. And there's a lot of military there too, but they don't really get entertainment. So
my brother-in-law's military and lives there actually.
They're dying for it. They're just super grateful.
And that's the thing. So many people that I know, they go there and they live, and they don't want to leave, but like you said, they're bored. They love it there, but they're bored.
They're very bored.
So, guys, make sure you all check that out. LSG, I want to thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Until next time, guys, we're out.